Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are not a subscriber, simply click on the subscription button now. Today I'll be interviewing an amazing personality. Her name is Dora Yuri, and she's a wealth manager at the IC Securities Group of Companies in Ghana. My audience meets Dora. Dora, meet my audience.
Hello, audience. Pleasure to meet you all.
Thank you so much, Dora, for having this interview with us. On our channel, we usually take a pledge because before we started the channel, we sent out a survey to our target audience, and they came back with feedback that they couldn't trust information on the internet. So would you please help take this pledge with me?
Sure, happy to do so.
Okay, please raise up your hand and repeat after me. I promise to say the whole truth.
I promise to say the whole truth.
Nothing but the truth.
Nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you so much, Dora. So in order not to keep my audience waiting, I'm going to start the interview. So Dora, please, can you give us a brief background of how your childhood was? We just want to get to know you better.
Sure, happy to do so. So I'm born and raised in Accra. I grew up with my grandparents in my early years, maybe up until about 7 or 8. I went to the Richard School in Accra and did my BC there. From there, I went to SOS Henamana in Tema. I've, settled back in Ghana since about 2019. And, I had a pretty normal childhood, in Accra in the 90s. So I'm not sure the age group of your audience, but I may be on the older side.
That's right, Dora. We just want to get to know you better. It's more like an icebreaker to the interview. So just to give our audience a context on what you did and what your journey has been like. So can you briefly give us, can you tell us how your career has been? Like take us through your education and then what you do or what opportunities you had to where you are currently.
Sure. So as I mentioned before, my education really started at the Richard School, where I went from class 1 to GSS 3. From there, I went to SOS Henamana in Tema. I did 4 years there, and from there I went to university. I went to Columbia University in New York. Over there, I studied engineering. And then from that point on, it became more finding opportunities for work. Back around the time of the global financial crisis, that wasn't very easy. But we did the best with what we were offered. So we had to put in quite a lot of applications and do a lot of interviews, a lot of preparation for interviews. And you get maybe one offer at the end of that year-long process of looking for a job. So I was fortunate enough to find a job with Morgan Stanley in New York. I did 8 years there in various roles, mainly in risk management. That's where I spent the most time. After about 6, 7 years in risk management, I came back to Ghana. Along the way, I also did my master's degree. I did it while I was working because that's the way I could make it happen. I could afford it. So I did a part-time master's degree while I was working. And then about 3.5 years ago, I returned to Ghana. So that's been my career journey in a small bite.
Okay, that's very interesting. So Dora, can you just tell our audience what you do? What does a wealth manager do?
That's a very good question. So a wealth manager simply put, helps a client to reach some kind of a financial goal. So the financial goal may be, I'm trying to save toward retirement. I'm trying to build a house. I'm trying to save toward or invest toward my children's future school fees or things like that. So what we need to do is to help understand the client's goals. It could be multiple goals. It's not usually just one thing. And put time and money constraints to that goal. So we need to know that, okay, you're trying to save toward retirement. Right now you have 35. So retire at 60, you have 25 years to get there. How much do you think you need each year when you retire? How much do you make now? Let's figure out how to get you there, right? So it's really setting up a plan with the clients, understanding their inflows and their outflows, essentially a budget, and figuring out how we can make the best of the disposable income that they are able to invest so that they can get as close to their goal as possible, ideally meet their goal. So for that, you have to understand speaking to people, you have to understand budgeting, you have to understand how the financial markets work and the rules and regulations in the financial market so that you keep your clients' assets safe. Your first responsibility is to keep your clients' assets safe. So again, that's our job. It's a bit more art than exact science because things change all the time in the client's life, in the financial markets. And so we have to be nimble. We have to try and stay on top of what's going on, if not ahead of what's going on.
Okay, thank you, Dora. So I want just for my audience, because this channel is targeting beginners. So if, let's say I'm in school and I want to be a wealth manager, what should I do? Let's say I'm in high school. What programs or courses should I do? And in terms of the opportunities that are available for someone to get into such a role, are there any opportunities or areas you think the person or the individual should be looking out for to be able to end up in the career that you are in?
Yes, those are both very good questions. What are the things you should do to prepare, and then what opportunities should you look out for? So I'm a proponent of getting a broad education. I feel that, at least in my experience, I benefited significantly from that. I'm an engineer, as I mentioned. I didn't do finance in school. I didn't do accounting in school. But I have a broad enough education that I think it sets me up to be able to take an opportunity, rationalize my way around getting that opportunity. And so I wouldn't say there's anything specific people need to focus on, especially at high school level. I think that's still quite early. If you find yourself doing general arts, do it well, right? I think the more important thing is to do what you're doing very well. If you find yourself a science student, try and be the best you can be, I think ideally you should have affinity to quantitative things and also to people. And both of these can be learned. I mean, I wasn't born an engineer. I could not even do maths in JSS. So these things you can put in the work and learn it over time. You also, as I said, just want to do things very well. Put in the effort. It will show in your grades. It will show when a potential employer interviews you, because those are the two key things, right, that get you in the door. someone will screen your resume based on what you've done and how well you've done it on paper. And then they'll talk to you in an interview and see that, yes, you're actually driven, or yes, you're actually interested, and you put in the work. And with those two things, you should, once the opportunity comes your way, you should be able to take full advantage of it. In terms of which opportunities to actually seek out, if you're really passionate about getting into finance, then look out for opportunities in finance. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. It doesn't have to be with an investment bank or a bank. You can be a CFO at a restaurant, right? You can even be a general manager in a shop, right? And just showing that you are able to manage accounts, you're able to do stock taking, you're able to ensure that employees are happy, you've spoken to customers, you resolve their complaints. These are all things that I do. Those are very key skills that is really on the job training. No one's going to teach you stock taking in school. And so do not shy away from opportunities that don't seem directly on your path. What you should rather do is when you get something that gives you an opportunity to learn, you take it and then try and sell it as a skill that applies to where you're trying to be. Because usually in the long run, where you are actually trying to be, those opportunities will also come your way.
Thank you. I'm sure that has made a lot of people who are so worried about where their next job, where they are going to have the next job or their next step would know that where they are is enough. They just need to build those skills and then prepare for the roles that they actually want. Yeah, so Dora, I want to know, in your job, right, mention three skills that you would need to know to be able to be an effective wealth manager.
So I'd say number one is really people skills. Being able to speak to a client potentially from any walk of life and help them to just understand the basics of what they need to achieve their goals. Even understand that they need a goal, because you'll be surprised, we get a lot of clients who say, I just want money. But when you don't have a goal associated or an aim, a target that you're trying to work for, you'll find that you're not really progressing to anything. And so being able to communicate that requirement that, okay, we need to be working towards something, and also being able to hear the client. The client may say, I want a car. You may even need to understand, okay, not just what kind of car do you want, but why do you want a car? Even asking those questions to understand if it's the best use of money for the clients at that time. Maybe they're just used to buying a new car every 2 or 3 years, but at the same time, that they have, teenage children who need to go to university. You might be thinking of a private university. And so we might have to help the client to prioritize. So things like that, being able to relate to that client, that's very important. It's probably number one. Beyond that, it's really, maybe I would say, the more technical skills. So being able to understand basic finance, you have to be able to, understand what the financial products on the markets are. And then over time, you'll probably build the ability to really get in detail, a detailed understanding of them. But at least at the very beginning, having that understanding of financial products. And then finally, I'd say it's really interest. I found in my career of helping people train, hiring people, and so on, that the people who do best at the jobs that are offered to them are those who are genuinely interested. So that's probably another big requirement. It doesn't come off as apparent, but it's probably a very big requirement.
Thank you so much, Dora. I think we've learned a lot from this interview. For people who have watched to this stage, right, what advice would you like to give them?
So I'd say stay true to your passion. If you are trying to be a farmer or a doctor or a teacher, stay true to your passion. However, at the same time, we have to work with the opportunities that come our way. If you find an opportunity that may not directly line up with your passion, try and think about it critically and see if there's any any good skills that this opportunity can help you to build whilst you work toward where you really want to be. So that would be my key advice, and work hard. I mean, just do what you're trying to do very well, and things will pay off over time.
Thank you. So my audience, you heard from Dora, right? So Dora, we usually give our audience the opportunity to reach out to our guests. So are there any channels that you prefer them to reach out to you? And for those who are very shy or they are not able to get to you, give them the opportunity to leave their questions in the comment section, and then we can then reach out to you to get them answers. So is there any way they can reach out to you if they wanted to get more information about what you do and how they could get guidance on career paths or any advice that they want to reach out to you for?
Sure. So probably the easiest way is to find me. You have my name, find me on LinkedIn. I'm not very active on any social media actually, so you probably won't find me anywhere else. But LinkedIn is a good way to find me. Beyond that, and you'll see a bit more about my my work experience there and everything. Beyond that, I think Fafali, what you said is a great idea. I know you know how to find me as well, so I'll depend on you to forward me any questions that come your way. And then there's obviously email. So there's dora.uri@ic.africa.
Thank you so much, Dora. But I just wanted to, I know you're a wealth manager and then you handle money. So I just want, for those who are beginning, what's just a quick tip. We just want to take advantage of you being here to get some insights. A quick tip. So let's say I'm a student or I just started university. Would you advise that I start thinking about wealth creation, or should I wait until I get my first job, or what should I do so that in case I get into the job market, I'm prepared? Because a lot of people, what I know is a lot of people are told about retirement, right? But then that's all we think about. And even for that, I know some people don't even take that serious until 10 years before they're about to retire. So for someone who's young and they want to actually get their money right from the beginning, what advice would you give them as well?
Sure. So obviously the advice is it's never too early to start. Even for retirement, it's never too early to start planning. Perhaps if I think about myself back in high school, even let's say back to JSS time, I would say I didn't have a goal. So I can understand if people in your audience are not specifically investing or saving toward a particular goal. Very understandable at this stage. But at least at that point in time, I still was saving. So I'd encourage that people save what they can. Again, times have changed. There's a lot more to buy now. I would say enjoy yourself, but put down, let's say, a percentage of monies that come your way that you want to put aside and open a bank account and start with that. Let's call it 10%, maybe 15% of monies that's come your way, put it aside. It means that it will take a little longer to get the things that you want, but if you stay disciplined, that that strategy or that discipline will stay with you really for the rest of your life. And so even when you're 35 or 40 and you have big, responsibilities, financial responsibilities, you still have that discipline of, okay, I'll put aside 10% or 15% for my retirement, for my children, for my parents, or church, or my building project, whatever it is at that point in time. You'll still have that that discipline, so that you're able to actually reach those bigger goals when the time comes. So set down a percentage of monies that come your way. You're saving for the next, Samsung phone or iPhone or whatever. 10% aside. It will take you a little longer to get that phone, but you benefit from that behavior down the road.
Thank you so much, Dora. I think I have benefited a lot from knowing you, and I'm sure my audience would also have gotten a lot of wisdom from our interview today. So I'm really grateful. Really grateful. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, audience, you heard it. I'm going to put in most of Dora's information, the description of this channel. And just a quick reminder, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe and hit on the notification icon. I'll post every Sunday a new video where you get to meet a new personality and then learn from him or her. So thank you, Dora, and bye.
Thank you, bye.
Bye.